Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another rant or sort of commentary regard, whatever you may call these. With me, Gitbag the Great. Not. It's kind of been a weird week, a past week, hasn't it? Not much has been happening, but at the same time, there's been a couple of things that have been like really sort of weighing on people's minds. One thing I'd just like to get out of the way first, and sorry, and don't worry, this won't be too serious of a video, and I just want to get this off my chest just quickly off the bat. Anyone remember back when that whole thing about Leafy is Here and H3 Productions blew up because of Leafy is Here's admittedly very poorly thought out video about the YouTuber Tommy NC 2010 came out? Well, it got me thinking, because around that time, both people who, were sort of subscribers of H3 Productions really lamped onto Leafy, and when he made his Leafy rant, and subscribers to Leafy is Here really lamped on H3 Productions when Leafy made his retaliatory sort of rant in response. And then, of course, Pyrocynical himself, another big commentary and, spoofing sort of YouTuber like those two guys. He made a very good point in one of his videos where he pointed out that a great deal of what is wrong with YouTube is, at least in terms of its content creators rather than its structure, is down to the fact that many of these content creators don't give warning or prefixes to their videos to, warn their subscribers not to do certain things, or, not to bully certain people. And, I think both Leafy is Here and H3 kind of admitted to this to a certain degree, and fair play to both of them. But it just got me thinking, because it's such a prevalent problem with this site now that I don't know if it'll ever be fixed. And I was just thinking about this because I looked back at over my Twitter feed for over the last couple of months, and I saw I'd sent a tweet to H3 Productions when the H3 rant had come out, and I supposed to him that he was being a bit two-faced about it. I'd like to, I'm not going to delete the tweet because I'm not a coward, and I believe, if you have, nothing to hide, or if you believe that information should be shared, then you should be willing to stand up to that. And I'm willing to admit that that tweet I set out was very wrong. It was very unprofessional. It was very rude, and it was very knee-jerk reaction, sort of. So I'm of course overstepping my sort of expectations and popularity on this site by saying that if H3 Productions ever sees this video, I'd like to offer him my sincerest and most professional apology, because what I did was very unprofessional and rude, and I'd like to hopefully retract it. Of course, that is, probably not the most professional thing to do when a wider scale dispute pops up around two very, very large internet celebrities. So I think I'd like to apologise to H3 for that, and, just accentuate the point that Pyrocynical made, that we all can be, guilty, and sort of parlay to this sort of knee-jerk reactionism after our biggest idols come out and say something about a certain subject. And it is a poisonous thing on YouTube in particular, because it's so prevalent here that it will almost always become such a issue surrounding a person's opinions on this website that it will end up drowning out the original purpose of the point that they themselves originally made. And I think that did happen to a very large degree with the rant that H3 Productions made, and the one that Leafy made in response to him. But ultimately, this all ended up boiling down to just, internet drama. And the original point about it was quite controversial, but the ultimate end game of this whole sort of conflict was boiling down to internet drama at the end of the day. And so, realistically, I think probably the best way to deal with this is just to, talk maturely, not make it public, and just, keep it to our, when we have a disagreement with someone, try to keep it to ourselves. If possible. If it is, of course, part of a legal process, then it may be, worth notifying the relevant authorities, but I think, you know, we all acted a little bit knee-jerk, we all acted a little bit immature in that situation to some degree, so I think I'd like to apologise to, you know, anyone who I might have, you know, offended in any way. Not that I offended many people, because I don't really have that many followers, but at the same time, I hope you guys get what I'm saying here. I mean, I'm just accentuating the point that Pyrocynical already made, which I thought was a very mature and very, you know, righteous point to make, because let's face it, there's too much sort of drama going on this site at the moment. You know, ultimately it's not really a site that's mainly aimed at drama. Really, this is a site for content creation. Drama isn't content creation at all, it's just the assessment of individual people's reactions to a certain controversial statement or something said about them or something that's happening, and anyone can do that. It's not the creation of any content, it's just the reaction to something, and I feel like the more we get, you know, drawn towards that style of video on this website, the more we are taking this website away from its original purpose, and the more we're poisoning it. And of course, sometimes with a certain website or a certain piece of medium, you have to update it from time to time in order to keep it with the times, so that it never really falls behind. But at the same time, I feel like the concentration on drama is so severe on YouTube that it's threatening to pretty much overturn the entire basis of what originally made this website great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think website like this, or, you know, YouTube rather, has been in particularly exceptional health for the last couple of years at least, but I do think that it is worth talking about the problems of the system and how we can fix that. Individual drama is really not constructed towards doing that, and I personally think, you know, anyone who's benefiting off of it is just not really constructing a properly professional and constructive environment on this website by which we can all work together to create a much better YouTube, which is, let's face it, it's always what we all want. We all want a YouTube where we're not going to have shitty copyright claims against us for no fucking reason and for illegitimate reasons. I mean, hell, I once got a copyright claim for something on my in the background of the first episode of my Fallout 4 playthrough, which wasn't even owned by the claimant, and it wasn't even owned by their by the person they were claiming to represent, and it was in fair use anyway. So it's like, you know, what do? We just have to unite, make enough of a fuss so that this kind of shit gets fixed, and hopefully move towards a more fruitful and golden future for this website. And I just feel like drama is a stepping stone towards that, or at least I originally thought so. Nowadays I kind of see it as being more of a roadblock, because let's face it, anytime we try to make progress and someone gets into drama with another person, and that person is, you know, sort of central to a certain movement, that movement is going to clusterfuck and break down, and it will not create a constructive environment in which to create progress and improvement in any environment. You know, we've seen this not just in YouTube, but in, you know, the world of politics, in the world of military engineering, in the world of, you know, art. Any, you know, I guarantee you, any industry or society that has been weighed down by drama of an individual sort of level has, you know, faltered and been suffering because of that, but just purely based off of the fact that drama is not constructive. It is not healthy towards a proper working environment, and I don't think it has any place really on YouTube. Maybe I sound a bit old-fashioned, maybe I sound like I'm talking out of my arse, but at the same time, I'm not that old. I'm only 22, and I just feel like that drama is just not constructive to a properly functioning YouTube that we all want. It just seems to me like it's neither constructive nor a, you know, or just simply a nice thing to do. Nice things to do, I would say, would be to create something like a review or a let's play or a commentary or something, or an animation or something creative, something that gives your opinion, something that you can attest to have created. Whereas with drama, it's just people reacting to a certain person's emotions and reactions to something. It's just not that constructive, and it's not even creative. It requires virtually no effort. I'm getting quite sick and tired, quite frankly, of seeing it happen so much on this website. It's honestly making me quite sick and tired of just seeing it. I'm not going to get like indignant and just go out of my way to piss off and sort of shit on, you know, YouTubers who do it, because ultimately I'm not going to stop them from, you know, doing their YouTube careers, and I'm not going to stop people who watch them from watching them. You know, it's entirely up to them. YouTube is ultimately a free market, and I think that is a great thing. But at the same time, it does make me feel like that there is a certain degree of over-concentration on this, to such a degree that its more adverse effects have really come to the fore. And especially considering the fact that this genre of YouTube videos is very much monopolised, you know what I mean, it's just like... it just feels like it's not really even that much of a balanced market within the free market of YouTube. The free market of YouTube is a very flexible and practical model, but ultimately, of course, like I said earlier, it does need a lot of, you know, reform and updating, particularly in terms of the copyright system. But at the same time, it is a good system in principle, in it bases itself off of a free market of ideas and content, and that is a good thing. And sure, you know, maybe, you know, drama sort of channels, or channels that focus primarily on drama, could fall under that to a technical degree, but at the same time, it's just like, where do we go from here? I mean, it's just like, it has such adverse effects to the creation of individual and unique content that I just feel like it will dissuade anyone from ever becoming a sort of unique and individual content creator. Of course, you know, there are some people who might have made a reaction video or a drama video and actually done something creative as well, but that seems to be extremely few and far between. More often than not, someone who's making drama videos, or someone who's making, you know, those sort of reactionist videos where they just sit down and watch the entire video in its entirety without editing it, without commenting on it, and just leaving it there for like fucking its entirety, and basically nicking the content for their own monetization and profit. Those kind of videos, I feel, are becoming increasingly cancerous and overly frequent, because, you know, sure, there can be a considerable market for certain videos on YouTube, and that's fair enough. You know, like I said, it's a free market. You can have industries for certain types of things of any variation in a free market, and I think that's a great thing. It increases profitability, it increases experimentation, it increases, you know, creativity. It's a great thing, you know, this sort of free market model that YouTube have. Of course, like I said a bit earlier, it does need a lot of reform, but at the same time, you've got to take into account the fact that maybe to some degree there is also a sense of the fact that, you know, some, you know, types of videos perhaps aren't the most constructive, and I mean, fortunately enough, those are very few and far between. As much as I might hate those sort of like little kiddie teeny bopper vlog channels where they, you know, upload really bad raps, like rapping the alphabet or some bollocks like that, or, you know, some certain let's play channels or stuff like that, those, or, you know, some commentary channels, those kind of sort of videos, they're fine. Honestly, as long as you let know who the content is that you're using, if you're using a different person's content, and credit them correctly and adhere to the proper copyright laws of this website, then, I mean, theoretically you should be alright, but, you know, of course we know it can be a bit spotty on YouTube in particular times. I just feel like, though, that in particular sort of modern reactionist sort of videos are quite poisonous, as are drama videos, because drama videos are, like I said, I'm not going to go too much more into them, but they just create this sort of unhospitable and poisonous environment on this website. And then, you know, these sort of modern reactionist videos can kind of in turn contribute to that to a very large degree, and I kind of feel like that's a very sort of poisonous thing in of itself. But at the same time, it also, you know, can sometimes create really big rifts between certain YouTubers, and I feel like that's a real shame, because, like I said, I'd like this site to be more inclusive, friendly, and happy, and, you know, a nice chill-out place. But I feel like with something like the reaction videos, your reaction channels like Blasphemous and Jinx and Shard the Reactor and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, I could go on. There's so many that are similar to those guys, but reaction channels like that, where they literally just put the video in one corner and then just have themselves just sit there gormlessly while the video plays in its entirety, or maybe saying like 7 or 8 words throughout the entire video and saying nothing of any proper context to the video without editing it at all. That kind of shit is quite bad, because they pretty much always, these kind of YouTubers, monetize those videos, which means that they're not only sort of monetizing content that isn't theirs, they're also not adding anything constructive to it, and they're also just not really commenting on it. Rarely you'll find a video like this that actually comments anything constructive or at all intrusive to the content of the video that they're watching, and I feel like that's a particularly poisonous thing to do. I've had people I know, love and care about, have their content that they create, not just on YouTube, but just in general, in life, basically nicked from them and basically sort of abused the fuck out of. My father is an artist, and he, does a lot, he does a lot of very, very good paintings, and he's been on the artist scene for a long time, since at least the late 80s, early 90s. So he's been doing his trade for a long time. But he himself has had to go through troubles before with people, using imagery of his work without his content, and not just like using it as an influence. That would be fine realistically, but it's just like the fact that they literally copy and paste his work into sometimes really quite shoddy works of art, like really crappy t-shirts, or just literal copy and pastes of his paintings to a much lower degree, and then selling them for a much lower profit, at which point my dad gets basically none of the money made from those works. Unfortunately enough, I think this has sort of run out now, and now my dad is able to make for this amount of money from his own artwork, which is very, very fortunate, and I hope that continues. I hope no one ever steals his or anyone's rightful and properly owned content again, unless it is for, intellectual constructive review, which is arguably what should be done increasingly more so, not just on YouTube but in general in the world of entertainment and the arts. Do I feel like these reactionist YouTube videos do this? No, I don't think they do really do anything constructive or intrusive towards the content that they ever watch, because they honestly, look at them, and they pretty much always just sit there gormlessly just watching the video in its entirety, adding nothing to it, and it's virtually stealing, because actually no, it is stealing, because they're basically just watching these videos in their entirety, rarely ever give the credit to the content creators who originally made the video, and when they do, it's incorrectly and in an unprofessional manner, and even still, that would be bad enough if it also wasn't for the point that these videos are pretty much always monetized, and therefore taking away potential monetization from the original videos that they're reacting to, which they, let's point this out now, almost always, if not always, have no permission to react to in the first place. You've had people like as far afield as Jack's Films, PewDiePie, Matthew Santoro, people with only 100 or so thousand subscribers, I Hate Everything, countless big name YouTubers and small name YouTubers, and people like that who have said, no, I don't want my, videos being reacted to in this manner. If you're going to react to it, say something constructive about it, edit it down, don't show the entire video, which is fair enough. And there's so many of these modern reactionist sort of videos that do that, and it's not only against YouTube's community guidelines, it's not only against copyright laws, but it's also against the better wishes and even the personal monetary benefit of the original content creators. It's about as backhanded a way of making content as you can get, and I personally don't really think it's even creating content to that degree. Like I said, to a similar kind of degree about, you know, making drama videos. I mean, ultimately, like I said, I do think the, you know, the content creation system, or the content claim system on this website does need enormous reform, because it just isn't working properly at the moment. And when it is being used to copyright claim videos, more often than not, that's against videos that aren't even, you know, against fair use or against fair copyright. And then there's these modern reactionist channels who are just running around just abusing the shit out of the copyright laws and the current copyright system on YouTube, and I just feel really saddened by this. And the fact that I was hit with a copyright claim when I first started doing my Fallout 4 playthrough, when it was entirely in fair use, and it wasn't even claimed by the legitimate owner of the content, when the content that I was using was in fair use. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I mean, fortunately enough, the claim was eventually removed, which I was very happy for, because otherwise I potentially would have received a strike, which on, you know, on this channel of this size is just like virtually impossible to fight, because I've only got 26 subscribers. I mean, I'm always thankful for every subscriber and, like, and, you know, view I get, but it's just like, let's be real here, me, as even with like over 24 subscribers, I don't have enough size or power to fight a copyright claim unless I appeal directly to the original content creator and respectfully ask them to help me out. You know, if I do that, then hopefully it should get, you know, sorted out. I mean, I actually did sort of contact Bethesda and the music company that sort of did the music for the song that was claimed in that video, and I don't know if they got in touch with the people who made the claim, but it eventually got resolved, so fortunately enough that was all Gucci in the end. But I also should probably mention, I guess, that this isn't a point to make about all reaction channels, because some reaction channels do follow copyright law correctly and are well within fair use on YouTube's copyright and fair use guidelines, such as Chadtronic, H3 Productions, you know, The Gamer from Mars, I Hate Everything, Your Movie Sucks. These guys are well within their right and well within the laws of fair use and copyright on YouTube, and in general, really. They're always saying something constructive about the video that they're watching, and they're always editing it in a way that makes it constructive. That means they're not just playing the video in its entirety. And more hats off to those kind of people, because they're few and far between, increasingly more so in this day and age of YouTube, and I feel really saddened by that. It's just not good enough. I don't know, maybe it's a dying art. Hope not, though, because I like those kind of reaction channels. I like H3 Productions, I like Chadtronic, I like I Hate Everything, I like Your Movie Sucks, I like Doc Reviews, I like people like that. They are good YouTubers, and they do make good content, and they are very creative. And they pretty much, well, actually no, they do always, as far as I can see, fit into the, you know, guidelines of fair use and copyright law that YouTube have on their website. And I just feel really saddened when people like that get copyright claims on their channels. Not just them, but also other legitimate copyright claimed channels who themselves fall within fair use. Angry Joe, Team 4-Star, Little Karibo, you know, JonTron, Boogie2298. You know, it's like, the list is endless. Honestly, it makes me really sick sometimes, and I just hope that YouTube can ultimately end up fixing this to a proper degree that not only benefits, you know, the copyright claim system itself, but also the individual content creators who are constantly being fucked over by this system, and, you know, actually target people like those kind of reaction channels that just play the video in their entirety and just don't add anything contextual to it. It's just, I don't know, maybe I'm... Actually, no, you know, I usually say maybe I'm talking out my arse, but at this point in time, I really don't think I'm talking out my arse. I think this is a genuine problem that needs sorting out pronto, and I swear to God, guys, if YouTube don't sort it out pronto and to an effective degree, then it's going to massively bite them in the arse. It's going to destroy their website from under their feet with a massive ball of fire that they will not be able to contain to any considerable degree, or any degree at all for that matter. And I just feel like the longer they leave it, the worse it's going to get, and ultimately it's up to them to fix it. And they have taken steps to, you know, publicly address and talk about the issue. I just hope they can actually follow up on their words. But the fact that they are actually at least listening to some of the bigger YouTubers shows that they do still, to some degree, care about the copyright system on this website, and the fact that their copyright creators are being fucked over by it. So, I don't know, hopefully this will be sorted out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I hope it is, but we can only hope and complain when it is being misused to abuse content creators like me, PewDiePie, H3H3 Productions, Jadtronic, anyone really. I don't know, hopefully I've gotten through to you guys, and hopefully someone high up at YouTube will see this. I'm sorry if this was a little bit of a heavy sort of video today. I guess it wasn't really so much about anything really controversial like, I don't know, rape laws or drugs or, you know, murder or anything like that, but not to get too heavy, but it's just like something, it's just a couple of topics that have just been weighing on my mind for quite a while, and I just thought I'd get my head out about them and I don't know, have a little chat about them. I hope you guys have at least enjoyed listening to me talk about them, and as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I have had making it, recording it, and you know, all that stuff. As always, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have fun with whatever you're doing. Take care. And as always, I am Gitbag the Great. Sorry for not uploading on Friday, by the way. I was a little bit busy. So yeah, I'm Gitbag the Great, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.